There's a major problem with the crypto market. Do you know how many cryptocurrencies and crypto projects there are right now? I actually don't know. And even if you look this up, you won't find an accurate number. That's because so many projects have popped up over the years and there are constantly more being added to the list. And now it's easier than ever to create your own coin, so literally anyone can launch a new cryptocurrency. So we've got a growing sea of cryptos all around us. And the obvious question here is, which ones will actually do well? A more accurate question is, which ones will survive? Because the truth is, the crypto space will not be able to support all of these different tokens and projects. Let's take layer 1s for example. As crypto adoption increases, the masses will turn to the most established and reliable layer 1 networks. Those with actual use cases, a trustworthy ecosystem, and of course, the capacity to handle large volumes of activity. Over the last decade, Ethereum has proven itself as a strong and utility-packed network. That led to Ethereum alone building a massive user base and taking crypto to the next level beyond just a medium for value transfers. After Ethereum established itself as number 2 in the crypto market, other projects started launching to compete with Ethereum and attempt to take its place. These projects tried to offer all kinds of advantages over Ethereum, like faster speeds, more utility. Some of them were even being labeled Ethereum killers, like Solana. And we all know how this ecosystem blew up over the past year. Solana at one point surpassed Ethereum when it came to certain metrics like daily active users and DEX trading volume. But in terms of market cap, Solana still lagged behind Ethereum. Even at its peak in January, Ethereum was far ahead. Today, Solana's market cap is about a quarter of Ethereum's. But Solana isn't the only layer 1 ecosystem competing with Ethereum. There's several others on the market, and if you do the research, you'll realize that each of these projects offer unique advantages. And this gives them potential to go up against Ethereum. But we come back to the same issues. There are so many layer 1s out there. How do we know which ones will actually go far? Well, we don't know. Otherwise, you and I would be going all in on those projects right now. But if you think about this cycle alone, there was one crypto project that grew pretty rapidly. The price chart performance was pretty impressive considering it launched right near the bottom of the bear market in 2022. And if you've been following my channel, then you know I'm referring to KASPA. This project took the market by storm, rose through the ranks to enter the top 20 cryptocurrencies by market cap, and the price action was incredible. Nothing but positive green action month after month. It almost felt like KASPA was well on its way to becoming a top 10 crypto, but this changed pretty quickly. The KASPA coin lost its momentum and started losing ground. It went from top 20 to falling out of the top 50. And even when Bitcoin and the rest of the market rallied in November, KASPA continued its downtrend. So what went wrong for KASPA? Well, stick around because there's a lot to unpack here in today's video. Now, let me get one thing straight. Just because I talk about KASPA or any project out there doesn't mean it's a flawless project. Crypto is still a relatively new space in the financial world and it's constantly evolving and improving over time. And within that space, newer projects like KASPA are like babies learning to crawl. Yes, there's a lot we can say about what this team has achieved so far, but there's always another side to consider. What if KASPA fails to follow through with its promises? What if it's just another hype network that's too small to compete with Ethereum? It's good to have questions in mind like this for any crypto-related project. That's why we need to dive a little deeper and understand the pros and cons of KASPA. Is this project truly a game changer or just short-lived hype? Don't go anywhere because we're going to discuss all of this and some of these points might completely change your opinion on the project. But first, a quick heads up for all the crypto traders out there. People always ask what exchange I use, but honestly, I don't stick to just one. Hacks and outages happen more often than you think, even on leading platforms. That's why I use over 10 different exchanges, and one of my main ones is WEEX. They've got some of the lowest fees out there, and signing up only requires an email. You can check it out and learn more by following the link in the description below. And if you want early alpha and real-time market insights, then join the FireHustle VIP Discord. It's also linked down below. Just remember, none of what I share is financial advice. It's all for educational purposes only. Now hit those like and subscribe buttons and turn on post notifications and let's get right into it. So no one can deny that KASPA became one of the fastest growing projects this cycle. And KASPA had one of the best performing price charts, especially because it was launched right after the 2021 crypto crash. Over a span of 1 year, the price moved up over 1,600% to reach its record high last July. And this was just 1 year before that high. Anyone that had their eyes on KASPA earlier than that witnessed a tremendous price climb, all while Bitcoin and the rest of the altcoin market were moving a lot slower. But then what happened after this point? It's been years since the record high price was set at over 20 cents, and clearly KASPA has been in a downtrend overall. Yes, most altcoins fell pretty hard after the market rally near the end of 2024, leading up to Trump's inauguration. But it seems like the downtrend for KASPA began even earlier. The price dropped as low as 5 cents a few months ago, and despite a short-lived climb in May, KASPA is clearly stuck in a lower trading range. Now, if we're expecting the next leg of this cycle to come up very soon, the altcoin market should push up again. And the question to ask is, will KASPA also join in on the action? Now, you could look at this chart and argue that KASPA already saw its peak and round-tripped, and many believe that this is true. And the fact that KASPA didn't climb higher when the market pushed at the end of 2024 could indicate that this chart has no more momentum left. So did we already see the top of this chart? Well, a lot of the time, price action will correlate with progress and updates for the underlying project. Good and bullish news is more likely to push the price higher, while negative news and bearish arguments could potentially hurt the price. Considering the strong downtrend, let's discuss the bearish case for KASPA. Why might KASPA fail to be a top layer 1 project? We'll start with one of the biggest pieces of criticism for the KASPA project. It's lacking a layer 2 ecosystem. There's no doubt that Ethereum became number 2 because of its smart contract functionality and layer 2 environment. This is what opened up the project to more than just investors buying and selling ETH coins. Decentralized apps with all kinds of use cases started popping up, automated functions that allowed builders to design complex financial tools. This is the extra functionality that ended up sparking the DeFi boom in 2020 and 2021. Which also explains why Ethereum still accounts for the majority of funds locked up in DeFi. So even if KASPA has all of these achievements under its belt, no layer 2 means no utility and no expansion capabilities. And this also cuts KASPA off from high potential sectors like DeFi and RWA tokenization. Now, speaking of expansion, we did see the launch of KRC20 and KASPA native tokens on the Kasplex platform. And you might remember this as a major failure because of the extreme network congestion. This was the first time KASPA faced this volume of activity, and you can think of this as a real-time stress test. Kasplex actually became unusable at one point, and people were pretty upset. Transactions stopped going through, and fees were insanely high. In a lot of people's eyes, KASPA failed this stress test, and it was not capable of handling high activity periods. But lead developer Michael Sutton addressed this issue and clarified that the KASPA mainnet itself was functioning properly through it all. Consensus and security on the network remained normal. The issue was that Kasplex couldn't keep up with the increased network load. So it was a front-end problem rather than a network issue. There's a reason why this was called an open beta launch for Kasplex. Now, despite this clarification, there were still a lot of unhappy people in the KASPA community. And what's interesting is that this downtrend for KASPA began just 2 weeks after the Kasplex incident. So it's possible that this failed launch caused enough FUD to hurt KASPA's price action. Because up until this point, the KASPA price chart was all green quarter over quarter. Now, on top of this growing FUD, the KASPA team made a big mistake. There were tensions growing between the core team members, to a point where they were turning to X to make their arguments public. And while sharing updates publicly is normally a good thing for transparency, arguing in front of the community is just unprofessional. But basically, the core team members had a falling out. A lot of the arguments seemed emotionally driven, and anyone watching this would naturally question the future of KASPA. So clearly, there's a case you can build against KASPA. But we also have to consider what's good about the project, because not every crypto project can climb the ranks the way KASPA did. Let's tackle the layer 2 problem. The team is actively working on a layer 2 landscape with smart contracts for KASPA. And we know this because of updates being provided by the devs on X. Smart contracts will be the gateway to more functionality and apps. And of course, this will allow KASPA to expand into major sectors like DeFi and asset tokenization. The KASPA Key initiative was also launched for this purpose to help bring KASPA's tech into real-world use cases. Another big thing to consider is the growing community behind KASPA. Despite all of the FUD, there were still ongoing efforts to spread KASPA's name to more people around the world. Ongoing meetups, educating people through KASPA ambassadors, and more merchants accepting KASPA as a form of payment. Their tech is slowly being pushed out to the masses through these efforts. At the end of the day, mass adoption was one of the key factors behind success in crypto. And if this growth continues, using KASPA as a form of payment could become a normal thing. But one of the biggest selling points for KASPA over the years has been its technology. KASPA is widely recognized as the fastest proof-of-work network, and this is thanks to their block DAG network structure. I know I've explained this several times on here, but it's important to know what KASPA has to offer compared to its competitor networks. Most of the leading crypto networks today use linear blockchains or some variation of a blockchain, but that type of network structure forces data to be added to the network linearly, one block at a time. KASPA's block DAG technology allows multiple blocks to be added to the network at the same time. This increases network throughput and efficiency. And of course, no mining efforts go to waste because there are no orphan blocks. We already talked about how Casplex experienced congestion, but this was a front-end failure from a third-party platform. KASPA's mainnet was still able to process the incoming transactions efficiently and without fail. And just a few months ago, we saw the KASPA team implement the Crescendo hard fork. This was a mainnet upgrade that bumped up the network processing speed from 1 block per second to 10 blocks per second. It's hard to directly compare this to other networks that use TPS as a measure of speed. But if we did the math using what we know about KASPA's block DAG structure, this means approximately up to 25 to 50,000 transactions per second, which makes this one of the fastest networks out there and definitely the fastest proof-of-work network. The team plans to increase the speed even further. But what we don't know yet is how KASPA will perform when there's actually a long period of high activity on the network. As of now, KASPA's day-to-day activity level is very low, and this translates to the level of adoption for the network, which is also pretty low still. And honestly, I don't expect the masses to flood in until we at least see smart contracts and layer 2 products come into play. Again, this is what drove the most growth and adoption for Ethereum. And this could be the missing piece to bring KASPA to the next level. You probably noticed that crypto is slowly shifting away from hype and turning towards real utility and use cases. This falls in line with all the regulatory changes we're seeing and efforts to make crypto safe for the masses. As of today, KASPA is still just a baby, and it's almost not fair to directly compare it to giants like Ethereum and Solana, which also creates a bullish case for KASPA as there's more upside potential. But we'll need to wait and see what happens as the team rolls out more updates. So what do you guys think about KASPA? Do you think this is innovative tech or just dying hype? Leave a comment down below with your opinion. And just a quick reminder, this video is not financial advice. Always do your own research before making any investment decisions. If you're looking for early alpha and real-time market insights, then come and join the FireHustle Discord using the link down below. And if you want more videos like this, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe buttons. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.